Hey there, I'm Ben. The WF1000 XM5 review. Okay, so for starters, I just hate that these don't have volume control. Kidding. I would never make that mistake. More than once. Okay, real talk. Let's start with hardware and fit and finish. I love that I can take my shirt off without ripping my headphones out of my ears. This part of the hardware is infinitely superior to Apple's headphones. The stem's design is nice because it's very tactile, but to be honest, it does get caught on things a lot. I do like that they're smaller also. I noticed that because they seem to weigh less, they also seem less likely to fall out of my ears when I'm working out and doing yoga, etc. On the note of smaller, I should also point out that these have extra small ear tips, which is really nice because I have tiny ear holes. Is that why I'm such a bad listener? Siri, make a note. Speak to therapist about tiny ear holes. Oh, I should just point out that even with the extra small ear tips, these were still uncomfortable to put in. So let's get talking about comfort and long-term wear. I wore these for about 4 hours at a time, fairly regularly, and honestly, I think they're a little better than the XM4s. That said, they're still very much noticeably there. And I do want to take them out around the 3-hour mark, which is pretty good, although not at the level of Apple headphones where I just forget about them. Starting to think that you maybe can't have excellent noise. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, every time I open these, I get this like weird heavenly choir sound and light shines down from heaven. I'm not really sure why. Probably a bug or something. Anyway, what I was trying to say was, starting to think that you maybe can't have excellent noise canceling and long-term comfort. It's surprising to me that Sony hasn't put more research and effort into this. Next, noise canceling and sound quality. So I'm about to talk a lot of shit, but please bear in mind that I genuinely cannot find a better pair of earbuds for active noise cancellation. Okay, on to the shit talking. So these headphones have a bunch of microphones and they're supposed to know when it's best to have noise canceling enabled. Frankly though, the auto part of the auto noise canceling seems super random. I would be having a conversation with a friend on the train and it would just turn on mid-conversation. I also enabled speak to chat only to realize that I talk to myself a lot. Possibly a concerning amount. It was only after I disabled the speak to chat feature that I learned that you can actually adjust the sensitivity of this. Regardless, I would say that this feature is a lot like auto noise canceling in that it doesn't really understand enough about the sounds it's hearing to actually do this job effectively, in my opinion. Also, I have a conspiracy theory that most active noise canceling headphones actually pipe in more sound when they exit active noise canceling mode to accentuate, how great the active noise canceling is. I don't actually have proof, but it does seem that things get loud and then kind of gradually fade out to a normal sound level. But Apple and Sony wouldn't do something crazy like that, would they? Going back to the auto thing, sometimes I'll just stand up and it'll turn off noise canceling, as if my standing up were somehow some kind of intrinsic sign to mean that I need to hear what's around me, even though it doesn't do that in other scenarios that are identical. Very strange. Okay, let's talk about the multi-device connection feature. This works fairly well. It still doesn't seem to be a true multi-connect because I can't play from both devices at once. And why would I want to do that, you ask? Well, mostly because then it's up to me to decide how much noise is too much noise, because right now it's this Canadian standoff of the headphones trying to figure out which device gets to play sound, and honestly, it's glitchy, buggy, and poorly developed. I have this problem on my Apple devices too, for the record, and it's kind of frustrating. I feel like the recurring theme here is that with these headphones and a lot of other products, the engineers creating the feature sets have got the hardware down pat, but the software just isn't smart enough to do what they want the hardware to do. Instead of device pairing, it would have made so much more sense just to make it faster and easier for me to switch between devices, which I guess this technically kind of does, but because I have the knowledge that makes doing the right thing at the right time very easy, I feel like that should be the direction of the design until AI or whatever gets to the point where it can do it itself. Ooh, I also dislike that when I go downstairs and I lose a connection to one of my devices, it doesn't reconnect when I come back. This being the most basic of tasks, it's weird to me that this is the thing that it fails at. The reconnection thing should not be an issue. Okay, let's talk about the app. The app has a lot of settings, like a ton. Honestly, I like that Sony is down to try new and weird things. I'll get into some of the weird things in just a minute. Again, I don't really have time to redesign Sony's app for them, but it does feel just as cluttered as in my last XM4 video, and it would be nice if it was simplified and reduced a little bit. Not saying they have to cut down on features, I'm just saying make it a little cleaner. Ooh, location tracking. So it does feel weird that my headphones are regularly tracking my location. I understand that this is an opt-in feature, and the excuse from Sony here is that it's supposed to learn when I need noise canceling, but given how terrible the auto noise canceling experience is, it feels more like an excuse to grab my location data and probably sell it. Again, don't have proof that that's happening, but the cynic in me is like, baby girl, it's happening. Okay, there's this feature in the app where you can nod or shake your head to receive or reject calls, and I know it's crazy to voluntarily answer a phone call, but I'm doing it for science, so here are the results. It failed once, it worked once, I accidentally declined a call once because I turned around and accidentally led that motion with my head. I did eventually get the hang of it, and I managed to answer a call, and I think it looked fairly natural. I'm not sure if it's just that I'm not used to interfacing with technology in this way, or if it is just kind of a weird way to interact, but it does feel kind of weird. If you watched my Bose frames video, you know they tried something similar, and I don't know, I think that it's just generally speaking better if we interact with things with our hands, because those are designed for interaction. Alrighty, that's pretty much it for part 1. In part 2, I will be talking about the button design on these headphones, and I do get pretty salty about it, so do subscribe if you want to see that. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I'm BRBTG, and as always, I'll be right back.